to the channel, guys. So remember in the last video I said I was going to convert a normal mountain bike into an e-bike. That's what I'm going to do. So I've just put this together. It arrived pretty much done anyway. So we've got all the components of the system here. This is one of the KirbEbike kits. This is the battery, that's the speed controller, that's the display for the speed controller, which makes it really nice and easy because you can just basically just put this together really quickly. So we've got the motor wheel here. This is a 1500 watt motor. It will do 2000 watts, but I've already put a tyre on here. This wheel size is actually a 26 inch, so it's a little bit smaller than what's on the bike, but we can change the front wheel if it doesn't really work. So already mounted is the sprocket, 7-speed sprocket, exactly the same as the one on there already, so that should just slot straight in. So let's get cracking. Right, first thing I want to do is just check the battery placement, see where the battery's going to go. Yeah, that's gonna look wicked in there. I was wondering about this because you've got quite a low top bar on some of these new bikes, but that looks like it's going to work fine. It actually just mounts onto the bottle mount, so I'll show you this. You just basically get this, and there's a key. So you just get your key, and then just release that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with the camera in my hand. And that just slots out, so you can see connectors and stuff on there. So we're going to fix that onto there, get it lined up, so we at least know, obviously, the battery's in the right place and everything else. Right, this is all lined up. I'm going to mount it so this is actually at the top of that kind of little runner there, so that it can only go, well, it can't go downwards and it can't really go upwards. So we'll just basically just tighten these up. It could do with a little washer under here as well. Right, so that's the battery on, feels pretty stable. And you can lock it into place while doing that. The great thing I've always loved about e-bikes like this is the fact that you can remove the battery to take it inside to charge it. And also if you leave the bike anywhere, which you probably wouldn't in this day and age, you can take the battery off at least anyway. So there you go, it looks really smart that. Next up, motor then. So take off this wheel. Love these quick release wheels. That has got to go in there. Right, before I do that, I almost forgot. I need to take the brake disc off of this one and put it on there. You get all the nice bolts included on here, but you might want to think about getting one of these, just a kit of little torque stick things, because they're an absolute nightmare to get out unless you've got the correct bit. So it's like a T25. I mean, you see, I'm putting it in the drill here because they put Loctite obviously on the bolt, so you'll never get them out unless you've got like a sort of a proper hand tool, but it's going to be difficult. So I just whacked one of these in the drill and then they come out nice and easy. Right, so that's off. That brake disc goes on there, obviously. There's this little spacer thing here as well, which I think we need because this is actually just a pure circle and that's got kind of a bit of a cutout on it. So thread all these through here, phase wires. Be careful with these really thin wires as well. So if you bust those, then your hall sensors won't work and that'll mean the motor won't spin. Right, just come inside for a quick coffee break. So those nuts around the outside of the disc, you want to do them up really tight, or even better, use Loctite. But if you use Loctite, as you've seen, they ain't going to come out very easily. But you've got to be careful because those, if they unscrew whilst you're travelling, whilst you're riding the bike, they will unscrew and then they will literally scrape the wire. I'll show you in a minute, but the wire that comes out of the motor, it will literally just catch on those, and that's how I've wrecked like one motor set of hall sensors. And then you'll have to take the motor apart and reconnect new wires, which is just a royal pain in the backside. So make sure you get those tight, and then they won't ever come out and won't, you know, sever the thing. But we've actually, on these newer motors, we've actually put a piece of heat shrink and like a kind of, like a tension relief thing there as well. So there's a bit more protection than there used to be. Right, so this is what I'm talking about. See, got a bit of heat shrink there and also this sort of spring. That all helps. So let's stick the wheel in then. Right, wheels in. As it turned out, what I had to do, I had to remove the spacer on here because basically it wouldn't go in. I thought it wasn't going to fit at all at first, but I actually had to take the caliper off as well. For the moment, I can put it back on. It actually, I've just tested it, actually lines up. We can see here, wire is actually kind of routed around the outside of that as well. The axle is fitting in the dropouts okay, but I think it could go down a little bit further. So what I'm going to do is stick the axle bolts on and stuff. I've got a torque arm to go on here as well, and then sort of tighten everything up and just sort of see if I can just bed it in a little bit better. Gearing may be a little bit of an issue. I might need to space this out as well. You can see it's very, very tight in there, so this is going to need to be pushed back, otherwise you're not going to be able to get into that bottom gear. Back wheels on. See what I mean about the stance? You've got a bigger front wheel than you have at the back, but I mean, it actually feels alright. I just took it around the block. And I'll tell you something, because I've been doing these really heavy builds up until now. This is the first really kind of light one that I've done, apart from the one that I started off right at the beginning of this whole journey. It's crazy. You can actually pedal the bike and it still feels pretty light. It's really impressive. I'm going to stick the battery in now and just give it a quick test to see how heavy it actually is. But other than that, next bit's the fun bit, the electrics. So let's start by sticking the display on. Quite excited to see how this looks on here. Look at that, look how smart that's looking. I love this display on here. It's just so kind of modern, and in the other video I showed it lit up, but obviously I'll show you that in a minute once I get it all rigged up. So next up, right, I'm going to run this wire from here down. This frame is so nice and clean that everything is kind of, all the brake lines and the gear lines and stuff are all routed through this frame, through the inside of it. That's one of the reasons why I picked it, because it just makes it look so clean. Next up, I'm going to stick the thumb throttle on. Now this kit in particular comes with a thumb throttle, whether you like it or not. That's what it comes with. You can actually probably change it for like a full throttle if you want, or maybe like a half throttle. But I'm going to stick with this for now, because actually it's quite good. If you're used to riding a mountain bike and you're not used to riding a motorbike, it can be a bit, you know, take a little bit of getting used to, because your hand is obviously on here, and if you're sort of flying around with the bike and kind of moving your hands quite a lot, going over bumps, then you can have problems, you know, if you're not used to it. So I'm going to stick with thumb throttle. Also included in there is a pedal sensor, which you can mount onto the bottom bracket, and then basically that gives you like a full pedal assist. So if you're not interested in having like throttle on a lever, like direct throttle control, you can actually have it like a real bike, where it basically just kind of makes it feel like you're just pedaling like He-Man or something like that. These are nice grips actually, they come off really easy. All you got to do is undo that. Not seen these ones before. Put that on. I need to move all this lot across a little bit just so that we get the same kind of, you know, amount of grip on either side. Right, so we're done, nice and easy. I can group the two cables down from the throttle and the display together up here, and then run them down to basically the controller, and everything is going to have to go here. There's a little bag that you can use for this. I'm not overly fond of this, but it's the best method at the moment. It'd be nice to have some sort of plastic box. I've even thought about actually maybe you could actually have it, you know, the controller and everything in a box like this, and then have this box a bit bigger, because then you kind of have everything in one box. But that's how it is for now anyway. Cable ties from Wilco, my favourite shop, but some are included in the box anyway. Oh yeah, almost forgot the switch for the display. I need to put that on there as well. Right, so cockpit's looking pretty smart. I've routed all the wires down here. I've used cable ties, you can barely see them because I've just obviously done them where the letters are, in between the letters, and then I've kind of done it so that they're just pulled it tight so they don't really see. And I've come out here, so we've got obviously our display, our throttle, and our power wire for the motor, and then you get this, obviously this kind of tube stuff you can just wrap around there to kind of keep all the stuff together. And then we're going to go into the bag there with the controller and everything. So you might be wondering about the brakes, the e-brakes. You do actually get e-brakes in this kit, but the problem is they're for cable brakes. So what I'm going to try and do is work out another solution. I've actually used switches before, just like a switch to enable you know, your braking or your regen and stuff on there. So I might try and find another solution, because I don't want to lose these brakes. I don't want to change these to cable brakes. It's not a big deal with the sort of medium, sort of lower powered bikes anyway to really have, you know, e-brakes. It's not that necessary. Right, so I flipped the bike round. Do you remember what I was saying about the wire from the motor touching on the actual little kind of the nuts from the brake disc? So what I'm going to do is create a bit of tension on this wire here, and then sort of cable tie it maybe in between those two things there, and then that will just sort of hold it out. And then I just need to route this along, so it comes basically to the same place over here, ready for the controller. Right, so next up we need to do the wiring. It's pretty straightforward. Obviously that's the battery lead, so you've got the controller here. So first of all we want to find the phase wires for the motor, and that is these three here. Now all they do is just basically go into one of these connector blocks here, put a bolt over the top of it, and then that's it. And then the other connector is for the hall sensors and temperature sensor in the motor. So you just need to find the connector on here, which that obviously connects into. And we can do that. So I'm going to do them yellow to yellow, blue to blue, green to green, as you'd expect. If you find the motor runs the wrong way, you might need to reverse two of those, which is just a straightforward thing. Just flip the two and then the motor will go the other way. And then that top cover just goes over there and screws on. Right, so that's your hall sensor plug, guys, coming from the controller, and that's the hall sensors for the coming from the motor. So that just plugs into there, and that's it, pretty much almost done. Then you've got throttle, which is this one, the 3-pin one. Obviously goes to the thumb throttle up there, and then the display one, which just goes into that one there. Now you can plug the battery one in, which is the XT60 connector, because the actual battery is turned off right now. So you know, be careful with that. Or you can just disconnect the battery, just move the battery off of the thing if you don't feel comfortable doing it right now. But basically I'm going to get all these cables together, try and bunch them up neatly so they can fit into that little bag there, which is going to be a little bit of a tall order, I think. Right, now actually before I do that, I'm going to turn this on, turn the battery on, and then I'm going to turn the controller on because I want to see if this wheel's going around the right way. Oh no, I've stuck the display on the wrong way around. Anyway, I can fix that. So I'll just ease the throttle and just see what happens. Right, that's going the right way, that's going the right way. This is exciting, guys. It doesn't matter how many of these things I've built. No matter how powerful they are, it always gets me, like, just the buzz of this is just awesome. Right, I've flipped it around. There you go, much better. Look at that, how nice does that look? Right guys, I've done it. So I've fitted all the stuff in there. It is a little bit tight in there, but it's fine. I had to move the battery up a bit because, yeah, it's just there's not enough space to sort of put this in there. It depends on what frame you got. It's always going to be different with this sort of stuff because, you know, this triangle is always different on different size bikes. But this is a large frame, so, you know, I'm happy with that. It looks quite neat. One thing I haven't done is the torque arm on there, which I really do need to do, but I'm itching to have a go. It's got a lot of torque with this 52-volt battery, guys. Look at that. Oh my God. Right, here we go. It's getting dark, so a little bit of throttle. Oh, you can feel the power there, guys. 300 watts at the moment. I mean, this thing's just so light. This is the thing. All right, I'm going to give it a little bit more beans. It's difficult doing this with one hand. I'm going to have to do a proper road test, guys, soon. But right, full throttle. Whoa, that's like 1500 odd watts. I'm loving that. It's amazing. It just feels so smooth as well. I'm having trouble just getting used to this versus the other one because this is a little bit more twitchy because it's like an actual mountain bike. But I'll tell you what, that's pretty damn amazing. Right guys, so it's the next day. I've had a shave as well. I've just flipped over to the GoPro. I thought I'd just take this out rather than kind of, you know, do the full setup that I normally do with the GoPro because this is just a normal bike. So I've literally done about it's saying 3.7 miles. I don't know how accurate this actually is at the moment. I just need to, you know, probably check it because you can change the settings in here to different wheel sizes and stuff like that. So I haven't done that as usual. I just kind of go gun-ho into it and kind of worry about that sort of stuff after. But anyway, yeah, so I'm at the trails, I'm sort of off-road, and yeah, I'm just going to give it a go. I mean, actually this kit is pretty lightweight. I mean, you know, look, you can just ride it absolutely fine, and obviously the speedo works, you know, if you're just using pedal power. So right now that's like no assistance whatsoever, and then obviously we've got the thumb throttle there, so you can actually kind of give it a little blast. And whoa, I mean, the power is pretty crazy actually. Like the amount of torque you're getting from this, you know, motor, because you've got the extra power on this battery, it's pretty damn impressive, you know. So yeah, we can just have a little poodle about. I've got it up to about as high as about 1500 watts. I haven't been running uphill or anything like that. So let's have a little blast up to the end of here where there's a little river. So I'm just using the throttle just to like hack through this, and you know, pulling about between 500 and 1000 watts one-handed, which is fun. I really should have brought that mount out with me. Right, I'm just riding up to the back of the airport. Airport's over there in the distance. I'm gonna try and do some shots of this for the Instagram. It's really freaking good. I mean, I'm gonna say that, aren't I? But no, I mean, this hub motor is actually really powerful. You could probably, and the thing is as well, look, it's saying motor temperature 36 degrees. I'll stick my hand on it in a minute and see if that feels about right. But I mean, it could easily handle more. Yesterday I did like 3 miles just kind of running this up and down, you know, just the track and stuff like that, just to see, you know, just to basically try and bed it in and test it out a bit before I was gonna, you know, do this little section of video. And it wasn't even warm at the end of it, not even warm. 1 bar of battery hadn't even There's still not a bar on this, and it's saying we've done 5.7 miles. So you all want to know what the top speed is, don't you? But I can't tell you that just yet, because A, I don't know if this is calibrated properly, and B, it's a bit difficult doing it on the tracks. Right, so I'm just having a quick look in the menu options. Basically, to get into the menu, you have to hold the top, turn the controller on, and then turn and push these two buttons, top and bottom, up and down, just holding them for a few seconds, and then you get this. So you got a limit speed 72 kilometers an hour. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near that. Dimension of the wheel to 26 inch, so it is set right. The unit is changing kilometers to miles. The others are like power assist settings and things like that, which you probably don't need to touch. Let's check the motor temperature then. Absolutely stone cold. So the outside of the motor is cold, but obviously the internal temperature is saying 39 there. Right guys, that's about it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed watching the conversion of the Trek Marlin 5, this bad boy, into an e-bike. I'm so happy how this has turned out actually, because it's made for a really good kind of all-round e-bike. You know, if you don't want to get, for me I've got the big bike as you know, if I don't want to get that one out and sort of go mad, I want to maybe just, you know, pop down to the shops or something like that. So as a commuter it's great, as kind of something really lightweight for the trails as well. It's awesome for that. It's got so much torque. Like I was saying this earlier to somebody, the Magic Pi that I was using before, the 1000 watt Magic Pi, it used to struggle to kind of pull me up small kind of gradients and things like that, like kind of verges, stuff like that. If you were out and about in the trails, you want to get up something that you wouldn't normally be able to get up or whatever, it just couldn't do it. But this just pulls you up with absolute ease. So I think that's the difference between 1000 watts and sort of 1500 knocking on the sort of 2000 watt level. It's just an awesome bit of kit, and that display, I keep going on about it, but it really is rigged. But as you know, I'm a sucker for nice looking stuff and kind of things with nice screens and all that kind of thing. The other thing, top speed, 35 mile an hour I managed to get out of this, and it was still climbing. You know, it would probably do more. I'm not sure exactly how far it would go. It was feeling a little bit sketchy at that level because I'm used to bikes that kind of handle differently, put it that way. My big bike kind of, you know, it will do 40, 50 mile an hour and it still feels on rails, whereas this starts to feel, I think it's the tyres, I think it's something to do with the tyres, but on trails and stuff like that, absolutely brilliant. Actually, one thing I will say, the kits are available now, but we've actually got extra wheel sizes. So a few of you have been emailing from the last video, a few of you sort of emailed in and were saying, oh, it'd be great if we could get different wheel sizes. You can. So everything up to like a 29 inch is now available. And my arm is just about to fall off from holding this camera so long. But yeah, the wheel size selector is now active on the website, so you can go and select, you know, what wheel you want. Also, we're going to be getting some 250 watt kits as well, so for kind of like road legal street kits. People have been saying about that, so that's what you want, we can do it. Same sort of thing as this with the colour screen, with pedal assist and obviously no throttle if that's your bag. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next video.